everyone, welcome back for another video. My name is Tanya, for those of you that are new here, and I am a watercolor and acrylic artist. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to create a floral mandala. I am known for cutting out all my watercolor shapes, and then I've showed this in videos before where I just put them in little boxes of a box of flowers, a box of leaves, a box of houses, because I do little scenery. So I'm just going to show you how to create something similar to this. All right, so I've got my Arches watercolor paper and I have my compass here. I also have my watercolors, paper towel, certain brushes. I will let you know what size I'm using as I'm going along, and my water. All right, so I found the center of my paper. Just measure your paper and find the center of it, and I will put my little point of my compass right on it. And you're going to want to make a couple circles because this is a mandala, and mandalas are usually circle. And then I'm going to open it and I'm going to make it a little bit wider and make another circle and a little wider. And this is just kind of to give us a guideline of where to place our flowers and our leaves. Make it a little wider. And maybe one more, because then I'm reaching the edge of my paper there. All right. So I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 circles. All right, and then I also want to take a ruler and I want to divide this so that I also know, like if I'm placing a flower here, I know exactly that it's straight across or on an angle. It's exactly where it should be. So I'm going to take my ruler and a pencil and I'm going to eyeball this. You can measure this if you want to be really precise, but I'm just going to eyeball it very lightly. I'm going to draw lines through my circle so I know where the vertical is, the horizontal, and then now the angle. And you can go ahead and measure this if you want to, but again, I'm just going to eyeball where the center of this circle is. And as long as you have your ruler on that dot and then the dot in the middle of your circle, you will know where it meets on the other side. Again, I'm just going to about eyeball that right there and meet in the center of the circle. And that's going to give me where my line is on this side. All right. Normally I would go ahead and lighten up my lines, but for the sake of the video, I am not going to lighten them up. I'm just going to leave them like this for right now. But you want to lighten them up because once you start doing your watercolor over the pencil, you will not be able to erase your pencil. All right. And you just have to kind of decide what kind of flowers you want. I am going to show you, I've got a little box of all my cutouts here. So I've made all sorts of flowers. Now what I'm going to do first is I'm going to actually paint onto the paper, and then I'm going to place some cutouts on top of that. So you just kind of want to think about what colors you want to use, what shapes you want to use, what kind of flowers you want to use. I'm thinking I might use, these are really pretty. They're like lavender. I've got these lavender cutouts and I love these. I think I'm going to use those. So I'm going to pull those. Then I also have these like Black-Eyed Susan ones. I'm thinking those are really pretty too. So I'm going to pick about 4 of those. Yeah, that's good. And so now I know that I kind of want to go with, my yellows and my purples on this one. So I'm going to take my watercolor brush. This is a size 10. And I'm going to dip it in my purple color. I believe this is just a violet. And I'm going to want to start with my my outside circle first. So I'm going to probably do it on the four lines. And I'm just going to make kind of like a tulip looking flower. And I know that I'm coming down to my 3rd line. So that's why we did all those circles. So now I know that this one here is going to have to come down to the 3rd line. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. That way I know how long they are, how wide they are. Same thing over here. And normally I would be turning my paper, but I don't want to get you dizzy, so I am not going to turn my paper on this one as I'm painting. And one more over here. So I'll do this one upside down. Now you could do this with any watercolor paper. You could do this with any paint, any watercolor paint. You could even do this in acrylics or anything really. You can use any medium on this. It doesn't have to be watercolor, it's just that I choose to use watercolor on this. I think I'm gonna add a little bit of my permanent rose type color in there, just to deepen it up a little bit. See how that dries. All right. And what you're gonna wanna do also is do the stem. So I like when my stems are actually bleeding into my flower, or you could just wait, you could just do all your flowers and then do your stems at the end. I like to see my stems just mix with my flower. So I tap my flower, see how it's going right into that paint, and I'll just bring my stem to the center. Now, whatever you do on one, you're gonna have to do on the others to make this a mandala. Okay, and this one I'm gonna turn my paper because I'm a righty and it's a little hard to do it like that. There you go. All right, and if you want to add some leaves, you can definitely add some leaves. So that's why we did the guides of our circles and our lines. That way I know it's exactly like a T. And even with the ones in the angles, you know exactly that you placed them where they should be placed. All right, I'm going to add, let's see, I'm going to move down to a size 7. And I'm going to pick up more of like my yellow ochre color here. Again, do any colors you want. And I'm going to just add in like a longer flower. Now these could be made up flowers. I'm just making up flowers and shapes as I go along. You can really like figure out what flowers you actually really want to do. This one here looks more like a lavender, but it's yellow. So maybe it's more like wheat. Since it's fall, I've been seeing a lot of these wheat plants growing. So I know that I went to my outside circle and I went to almost the middle of the last circle, right before the last circle. So right about there. That way you know that you have them placed exactly where they need to be. So right there, and then you can go ahead and just start filling it in. All right, if you want to lighten up your colors, you can. If you want to add a different color, I think I'll add maybe a little bit of an orange to this one. Just drop a little orange in there just to give it a little variety. I like mixing my colors together. It just kind of makes the painting look a little bit more uniform, like it all belongs together if you start using some of the same colors here and there. So for instance, I will add a little orange in my tulip looking flower up on this side. That way I know I've got, it just brings it all together. And what you do on one side of the flower, you want to do pretty much on the same side of the flower. So I added the orange on the right side of the flower. So you're just going to want to kind of keep it consistent. All right, and then again, I'm going to add my little stem. I'm going to bring it in, and then I'm going to even hit it right inside here a little bit, just so it looks like the stem is going up. Bring it in. And I like when the green blends into the water. If you, the watercolor, I should say. If you don't like that, then dry it. Dry your flower first. But I like the unpredictability of where that green is going to go. I'm also thinking I want to add a nice big leaf in here. So I'm going to take my green and I'm going to make a mixture. Let me just show you what I'm doing over here. So I've got this more olivey green, and I've got paint already on my little palette here. I think it was like Viridian green or something like that. Just take whatever color you want. That's why I'm not being specific with what colors I'm using. Just do whatever you want. This is supposed to be fun. I got a little fuzz in there. Okay, so I'm going to make a stem, I think about the second line in, and then I'm going to pull it down so thick. I'm going to use my brush a little bit thicker, push down, and then I'm going to lift it up. Okay, so I did that on the right side of my flower. I'm going to do it over here too. Lift it up. Okay. Again, if you want to turn your page, you definitely can. I'm just doing this for the video. Normally I would turn my page because it's a little bit hard to paint upside down. Right about there. And then let's see, it was on the right. So right about here. And then I connected it to my flower's stem. Like that. And I think I'm going to add a little bit of blue in here. I love mixing my blues and my greens. I think that's my favorite color is aqua, like a teal. So I usually start mixing my blues and my greens together, but you don't have to do that. And I think I'm going to make another one, maybe more with blue. There we go. Pretty. So I know I went up 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then this side of my tulip. And it doesn't have to be exactly the same. You just want to kind of in the ballpark, just so it just looks similar, you know, on each side. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So right here. Okay, that's looking really pretty. All right, I think I'm going to add some orange in here also. Now that I added a little bit of orange in these wheat looking flowers, I'm kind of feeling like it needs orange somewhere. So I'm going to take my orange, make an orange mix over here on my palette. And maybe I'll just do more like, actually let me change my brush. Let me take, I'm going to take my filbert brush, and this is a size 8. So I'm just mixing it in my orange. And I think, let's see, 1, 2, 3, right on the side of the yellow of this one, 1, 2, 3, up. And I'm just gonna do these little flowers, just like that. So then, let's see, it's this one. So it's really important to have these guides, all these lines, so that you know exactly where you're going, because this can get confusing, especially when it starts to really start getting filled in. It gets really confusing. Okay, I'll mix a little yellow in here now. I'm mixing a little cad yellow with my cad orange. And let's make another one. Add a little water in there. So that was right above. So I'm going to continue to keep making flowers on here. And then I will show you when I get to the cutouts. Okay, so I went ahead and I added some more greens. I added a little pink in here. I even splattered a little bit of that turquoise color in the background just to give it a little bit of polka dots. It kind of brings the mandala together. If you do a little bit of sprinkling of the paint. If you don't like that look, then definitely don't do it. But I like that look and I feel like it brings it together. All right, so I'm going to start placing where I want my my lavender looking flowers. Okay, so right now I know it's going on the right side of this orange one. So that will be this side, and that will be this side. All right, and if I feel like these are too big or whatever, you know, just paint some other ones that are a little bit smaller if you feel like you're covering up a little bit too much. And then I had taken these, let's see, that's going right on the green one there. And you are going to be covering up some of what you did, so you're just going to have to just realize that as you're painting everything, you're probably going to be covering up, you know, a lot of your painting anyways. It's just supposed to be for background, and then you're just layering it. Yep. I've got another one that's a little bit smaller, so I think I'm going to use that one. And these have a little bit more orange in it. So if you realize that some of your paintings have a little bit of a different color in it, maybe just kind of make them opposite of each other rather than, since these two have a little bit more orange in it, putting them together, do them opposite of each other. And these are two are a little bit more vibrant yellow. So it just kind of makes the painting look a little bit more put together. And then I'm going to choose something for my middle here. I've got a pink one. That's too much purple because I already have purple. Let's see. Then I also have these geode looking little shapes that I made. I have a whole box of those as well, and I love those too. Look how vibrant that one would be. That would be really beautiful. I've got a green one. That changes the whole look right there. That's pretty. And you can even layer too. If you have one that's like big enough, you could even put this on top of there so just a little bit of the blue is peeking out. Look how pretty that would be too. Let's see if with the green. Just with a little bit of the green popping out, that'd be pretty. This one, they're almost the same size, so that'd be covering up too much. Maybe I've got a smaller pink one. Let's see. That would be pretty. That'd be really pretty. I have a whole box of leaves too. So I did all different color leaves. Some are even metallic-y. I don't know if you can see that. Really, really pretty. So I'm going to go ahead, let's see, maybe these darker blue ones might be pretty. So let's go ahead and pick out 4 of those darker blue ones. If I can find it in here. I've got that blue also. All right, let's see what those look like. Let's see, maybe if we added one close to the tulip looking flower. So these two kind of look similar. So again, I'm going to put these opposite of each other because those two look similar. And then these two blue look similar. So I'm going to add these opposite. Maybe poke it out from there. Oh, I think that's really pretty. All right, so I picked out my cutouts and I'm going to go ahead and start gluing them on. The way that I do this is I take a piece of paper. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to take my paper, and I usually use tacky glue, which works really well. And I'm going to leave it like this so I can see what's behind. So whatever is behind each other needs to be glued down first, obviously. And I could see that all my lavender looking flowers are pretty much behind because the yellow is kind of on top of that in some places. So I'm going to take my lavender ones out and I'm going to turn it upside down. I'm going to put a little glue on there. You can mix this, blend it in with a brush. I just use my fingers. Make sure you get it all nice and covered. And then, here, let me move this out of the way so I don't get glue on that. And then I know that I'm placing it right about here because I want some of that orange peeking out and I want some of that green peeking out too. I'm going to press it down for a couple seconds. And then I'm going to move on to the next one. So I'm just going to work my way all the way around with all my shapes. Okay, so I went ahead and I glued everything on. I did decide to change my middle piece here because before I had a little bit of a lighter flower, and I decided to go with more of one of these geode looking shapes right in the middle. I just thought it would pop out a little bit, adding some red on top of there. And then I went ahead and I just used my kneaded eraser, and I went around and I just erased all my circle marks that that I had made before to guide where I was going to put my flowers. So I went ahead and erased those also. So we're at this point now. You can leave it like this and call it done. I always like to add a little bit more. I've got this fine glitter glue here that you can go ahead and sprinkle on certain flowers if you want to. I also have some acrylic gold paint that I like to use like a liner brush, really thin brush, and just go and do some gold accents. Or you could even use maybe just a gold pen, a gold marker like this. So I'm going to go ahead and use this marker and just make sure. Sometimes if you don't use it in a while, it just, you have to shake it a little bit. I'm going to do little gold accents in my leaf. The greener leaf, and I'm just going to do some veining. I'm hoping you can see this on video, but I did some gold right in there. So on this leaf, so whatever you do on one leaf, make sure you do it on the other one. All right, and then this one. And then with my glitter, take a brush, since it is glue, take a brush that you don't really care about. And I'm going to add a little bit of glitter on my lilac looking flowers. Just a little bit. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to overpower the painting with glitter and gold, but just a little bit here and there makes it really pretty. There. And maybe a little bit of glitter right in the middle, just to pull it all together. There. Beautiful. That is one colorful mandala. All right, so I think I'm going to call this one done for now. I'm probably going to frame it in a nice white chunky frame. I think that'd be really, really pretty. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up and make a comment in the comment section if you like these kind of videos, because I'll keep making them for you. They're really fun. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you want more videos like this one. Have a great day. Bye.